Okay, thanks everybody. It's time for the main event, and as you know, it's our strategic plan strategy presentation. Now I'm presenting this, but I don't for any moment take the credit for it. It has been a club effort. It has been a team of people on 3 different Saturdays, ably coordinated by Jane McCann and Peter Cornish, the head of strategy, and Helen Elgar's done a lot of work, but there's been a lot of people involved in moving things along. So we're presenting it as a bit of a draft or a starting place for some feedback and comment, and we're going to be refining it over the next few weeks to become an action plan that we can live by for the next 12 months to 2 years. Like any plan, it's as good as it is at the moment, but you adapt and change as things change. So our strategy, it starts with a vision. Our vision, our club has been and will continue to be leaders of positive social change. And when you think back over time to what this club has achieved with crippled children and Plunkett and Karatani hospitals and so many different things that it has established and made permanent and then moved on, that have had a significant difference, made a significant difference in our community, New Zealand's community, and in some projects the wider world. It's our goal to ride on the shoulders of that earlier work and try to continue with that sort of influence in our community. So underlying that, the key strategies to achieving that: identifying opportunities for social change, not always easy, sort of thing you've got to take a little bit of time out every now and again and have a little bit of a look. What's happening? What are the issues? How could we help? How could we use our networks to make a difference? Taking direct action to improve community wellbeing. Leading support for social enterprise. And of course, underpinning that and making it possible, fundraising and making grants, choosing where to spend that money and spend it wisely. These strategies will be enabled by having a vibrant, progressive and sustainable club. We all know that our membership has reduced in recent years, but we are still one of the biggest and capable clubs in the country, and it's up to us to maintain that strength and maintain that vibrancy so that we can make a difference for many years to come and provide an opportunity for many younger people to move into and take over that role. In doing that, we also need to have a vibrant, progressive and sustainable Rotary community. That's not just Wellington by us contributing to the cluster. It's the district that we work within and having systems that work efficiently and properly for the current environment. But we've got a role to play by being one of the largest and most established clubs in the country to have some influence on how we think Rotary in New Zealand should be governed and run. So putting those things together, we start to build our whare. Our vision: leaders of positive social change. And the po, or pillars that sit under that to build our whare, next slide, are made up of those objectives or strategies that I talked about. At the base, the vibrant club and the vibrant Rotary community, because we can't achieve all those other things without it. It's the networks that we build and the connections and the skills of the people that are in the clubs and in the community that can make a difference to the wider community. And we're poised probably better than any to have that influence, as we see Rotary International having an influence with things like polio eradication and other programs. So what does that mean in terms of individual actions? So looking at the leading support for social enterprise, things like our Kickstart Awards, And a reminder, these are on next Monday night at the Wellington Club, and we need people there. Our numbers are quite low. It is a fun night. It is a night where we get inspired by young people and community people with projects that just blow us away. Come along and hear them speak and have a choice in deciding who gets the money to make a difference in our community. All of you are invited. All you have to do is be at the Wellington Club and have a glass of wine and listen to some inspiring people and vote. So why wouldn't you? Our Elevate program. Now the Elevate program is something you haven't heard much of yet, but it's being done in conjunction with the Kina. But it's about us providing an opportunity for training to take some of those social enterprises who have got wonderful ideas to make a difference and give them some of the skills and support around that in terms of helping with planning, strategy, training, communications and things like that so that they can be more effective. It's a multi-week program to help people really move up the ladder and be more successful in their achievement. There's our Social Enterprise Fund, which you've heard me talk of before and others in the club, but we are genuinely targeting raising $1 million by the time we celebrate our centennial in 2021 so that we can use that fund to give grants to good social enterprises to make a difference in our world. And the idea that we have there, and it's Andrew Miller who'll talk more on this in future weeks, but the idea is that we lend money to social enterprises at a very kind or possibly interest-free rate, get their business established, and once they are established, they pay that money back, and we're in a position to lend that to another organisation. And if we can get some interest payments out of them, we continue to grow the fund or look to grow the fund by continuing grants and really make as much difference as we can. The target is $1 million by 2021. If we exceed that, that's great. It doesn't mean we stop in 2021 because as well as helping social enterprise in New Zealand, ideally we'd like to help social enterprise in the Pacific. So it's just a question of how much traction we get, how keen we are, and keeping our shoulder to the world. We'll also be looking to encourage other clubs to join us on that. It's not just us, it's the end goal that we're after, and anybody that can help us, we will take that help and form a team with them. And how much we might achieve as a wider Rotary community doing the same thing if Auckland has $1 million seed fund and Christchurch has $1 million seed fund. How much difference can we make to some of those social enterprises? So that's leading support for social enterprise. Identifying new opportunities for positive social change. Now we've started this for a few years in our forums already in this club. And what we're talking about is not replacing the forum's good, but thinking about what else we can do. And it's also about giving a bit of focus to what our forums are about. But again, I've said, as a club, we have got some wonderfully connected people here that can make a difference, pulling the right people into one room or one lecture hall to make a difference in terms of thrashing a topic round and agreeing a good course of action and getting a plan to make something happen. So there's the forums. I see the Eureka a little bit like that. The Eureka can fall into various buckets. But what are we doing? We're taking young scientists. We're encouraging them to think about turning that science into something that's making a difference in their community, whether it be business, environment or whatever. We're trying to encourage them to think about the skills of how to put together a business plan, but the critical part of all of that with Eureka is bringing those things together and being able to communicate it, and communicate it in a way that it sells to people. And the benefit of that is they'll be able to sell it to people with money to back the idea, to make it happen and make it a reality. And that is a wonderful way of providing opportunities for our scientists and young students to think about what is their passion in science and turning it into something that's really of value to everybody. Using our networks, as I say, to facilitate the discussion and action on key ideas. And we're setting up a little committee whose role it's going to be thinking about what those issues could be and how we could put something together to make a difference. So anybody, as I read these things out, anything that appeals, just put it in the back of your mind and approach and join the team that's working in that area, because that's where you can make a difference. So what does it mean in terms of taking direct action to deliver community wellbeing? Project Hope. We've talked about Project Hope. It's the major international project that we're doing with Auckland, Sydney and Melbourne as part of our 2021 centennial celebrations. It's about getting vaccinations, 3 lots of vaccinations for children in up to 9 countries. We're pretty much sure that we can do the main 4 countries with the money that the Asia Development Bank's coming up with, but we want to raise the extra $5 million so that we can go to the 9 Pacific countries. The idea there is that we can pay for the immunisations in year 1 that the countries can't afford at the moment. It will be delivered through their health systems, through the normal ways. It's just they can't afford those vaccinations. But the goal is, by providing those vaccinations, the money that those economies and health departments and countries will save by hospital beds not being needed in the future years from the vaccinations, the cash flow saved will allow those countries to keep those immunisations going for all children of all generations in the future. It's a wonderful plan, a wonderful opportunity to be part of. And our target around that is raising money, because we don't have to actually be out there doing it, we just have to get them behind to help those that are. But Rotary networks are also going to be an important part of that rollout in the countries, because as we know, even in this country, there is a lot of, I use the word, ill-informed debate about the benefit of vaccination. And some of those countries have the same problems, and it's about having trusted community people in those communities selling the benefits of vaccination that's going to help with some of those programs, and our Rotary Network aims to help in some of that communications as well. Project Forest in the heart of Wellington, direct action to deliver community wellbeing. 100,000 native trees planted in our area. A park that's going to be a pleasure to take families and children through, right in the heart of Wellington. Potable water in the Pacific. This is one that our own international committee is trying to develop. We have set up a relationship with Rotary New Zealand World Community Service. We have an organisation called DANS, Disaster Aid New Zealand, that our club is chiefly responsible for, but working with other clubs, fundraising to make money available to put water purification systems into villages in the Pacific. Everything is set up. We have set some money aside in our budget this year. We are ready to go. The only thing that is stopping us now is we have to get specific about the villages and where we're doing it and the projects, and then get them behind that for further fundraising. So watch the space, but that is definitely the area that we are wanting to make progress on now, and get a project that we can be quite specific about and make happen. We did already spend some money from this club and help put some sky hydrants into the Philippines in conjunction with some other clubs internationally. So it's not as if it's new to us, but the initiative in the Pacific is new to us, and we really want to make a difference there. Medical research for the health of the elderly. I think it's fair to say, Karen, you're a long way down the track in terms of sorting something out there with some of the money that comes out of the trust that's got tags to it. Our skilled migrants program. I said before how much this club loves being involved in that program, but making a difference to skilled people that have come to this country. They've got a wonderful set of skills to contribute to our community and to our economy, but through a little bit of language misunderstanding and a few slight cultural issues, have trouble getting in front of somebody for an interview, and when in the interview, having trouble getting their story across properly. And the School Migrants program does a wonderful job at helping give them the confidence and the skills of how to interview in our environment. And as Nikki has said often, their pass rate is a success of somewhere between 75 and 80%, actually getting employed in the professional area that they have the skills to make a difference, not only to them and their families, but to our community. And that's another example of how we want to continue. Taking direct action to deliver community wellbeing. Again, we're doing a host of things, have been doing a host of things. Blood pressure testing, volunteering to help people on those sorts of things, collecting for charities, and there's one coming up for Samaritans just a little later in August. Collecting and making money available for emergency response kits for disaster relief. And we've been contributing to that, but we want to be contributing more and providing funds so that those kits can be sitting in the Pacific and ready if there is a disaster. They can be in place within hours or days. So how do we make some of that happen? Fundraising and making grants. Our fundraising projects that you're already well aware of. Jumbo tennis. It's been going for 6 years, is it? 9. There you go. I've been around too long. It just seems like only 5 or 6 years. But generating around about $25,000 a year. Fantastic. Singers to Listen For. About to go to the third or fourth? Third year. Again, in the diary now. A fantastic event, and also generating around $20,000 to $25,000. The Sunshine Box. You know, every week we encourage people to put money into the Sunshine Box. Many of you, I know, have already signed up and put the red card in, which is a guaranteed amount each month. But if you haven't done that yet, think about it. The beauty about that red card is you don't have to have cash in your pocket, you just put that in. The other beauty about it is that Rebecca knows who's given how much each week, because it's a set amount, and she just builds it onto your tab, and at the end of each financial year she gives you a summary of the amount that you've donated to the Sunshine Box, because it's a tax deductible gift to charity. And so you can give $10 and it can cost you $6.70 each week. It's a fantastic win-win. So if you're not already on that scheme, think about it. But that's what our Sunshine Box does. That money gives us money to put towards these projects and choose and allocate according to what the board believes the need is most at the time. There's also a couple of other initiatives that I'm trying to get underway, and William has helped enormously, not only on Jumbo Tennis, and we're grateful that Jumbo Tennis came about because of William's persistence for many years. He tried to tell people how good it would be and no one listened, and finally someone did, and 7 or 8 years down the track we're very grateful. But we're also working for something we're calling the Flyer, which was built around, many of you would have been here, I wasn't, but there was a speaker, Jerry Ford, who had Reese doing the haka. What's that? On his chair. Do we need a reminder? We're in discussion with Jerry, and we're in discussion with Port Nick Rotary Club to look to do something together with them with the aim to raise a good amount of money that will either go to Project Hope or to the Social Enterprise Fund. But we've got plenty of things we can spend the money on, we just need to raise more. So we're looking at that. And there's another couple of initiatives I've got in mind that I just need to tap the right people on the shoulder to talk about. But we need to keep generating funds. It's not our sole purpose, but we've got such good projects that we want to do, we need to have money to fulfil them. Fundraising and making grants. I talked on that slide about the raising the money, and on this slide it's the sort of thing that we are spending some of the money on. Te Whare Oki Oki, which is helping here in Wellington with the homeless. The Newtown Pacific Community Health Program that Karen's team are looking to support. Our own youth committee with youth study grants and things that we can help in that area. And Tracy, I know, is very keen on rethinking the strategy there and thinking about how we can now make the money that we allocate to youth be used not just by those that are successful already in terms of young leaders, but those that need help to be successful. And Tracy's doing some work there. The Wellington Children's Hospital is going to be the beneficiary of both Singers to Listen For and to Jumbo Tennis for part of the funds this year. And then we have our music awards in the club as well. This is just a subset. There are so many things that the club gives money to and does that can't be covered in a session like this. And I think of the work of the John Eilert Trust, where $170,000 is granted each year across, where's George? George, how many organisations were recipients last year?
Oh, you said 170.
170,000, but there was
about
100 organisations that received money through that, and that's dealt through a committee in our club. So it's a huge spread. So that's all enabled by a vibrant, progressive, sustainable club. So membership retention and growth is going to be critical to that. Wider opportunities to engage, not just lunch sessions, but a whole range of different activities. A variation on venues. We'll be here for Monday lunch, but we'll be in different places on different nights of the week doing other things. We're talking about I'm speeding up, I've seen the time. Variation of membership types, e-club, project-based membership, where people are involved with a project for us, but not necessarily on the rest of things. Family memberships, why not? Patron memberships. So corporate memberships. We're also looking to enhance our communications. I have never been in an organisation ever where people don't say there's not enough communication. You can never get it all, but we want to do more. A bit more internal and a lot more external. Social media, etc., you've heard me talk about before. And also increased social activities and opportunities. We've got to remember to celebrate the successes. We've got to remember to enjoy the journey. After all, it's a club. You want to have a bit of fun. And let's bring back the fun starting every Friday night with a drink at 5. So, helping in the Rotary community, a vibrant and progressive, sustainable Rotary community. We're already involved through helping try to direct a little bit of change in district governance, and Anthony's done an enormous amount of work there. We're also involved in the cluster a lot more. Mark got involved in the cluster locally, and I intend to continue that. And through our centennial celebrations, we're going to be better linked with other organisations and talking about Rotary and clubs that we've fostered, etc., etc. But there's also a national leadership strategy to be worked on, and Anand will be key to that. He's got some ideas and some views on how we could have a little bit more focus to Rotary New Zealand, and I think it's well worth, and we will spend some time trying to influence and change in those areas. So for those that are numbers focused, again, if I was the President, I'd be rushing, telling this speaker to hurry up. Can we get to the next slide? 100,000 trees in the heart of Wellington. Vaccinations for 3 diseases in 9 nations. $1 million of social enterprise. 25 sky hydrant installations by 2021. Plus all of the other grants and forums, etc. So this has been the essence of the plan, not all of the detail. It'll evolve as the year and years unfold and circumstances change. We're going to be crafting it and fine-tuning it in the next few weeks so that it becomes a workable strategy that we can manage to. Then we'll put the plan onto the website and be prepared to revise it as needed. Feel free and open to send me your thoughts and constructive ideas for refinement at any time. It is our plan. It is your plan. Last slide. The committees and projects are key to the success of our plan, and the committee chairs and projects leaders can't do it on their own. Please don't leave it to them. Don't have a meeting that you're a committee of and find out that the chair was the only person that went there. That's not fair on them. We need active communities, committees and project teams with members taking responsibility for subtasks and deadlines. Many of our goals are multi-year. Don't be afraid by the boldness, because we can achieve them. They're multi-year goals. We've just got to get churning away and get the foundations done. We're not going to stop what already works, the Monday lunch, etc. We're just going to try and add. Please consider how you could be involved. It would be much more satisfying and enjoyable for you to be in the game, not just observing the game. So that's it. Thanks. I'd say question time, and by all means, but we're running tight.